you know how it goes.
Yeah, baby. Pep Talk. Pep Talk.
Stamina for soul. Anthony Yarde.
It's a movie.
You know the set.
Let's go, bro.
You know how it goes.
Pep Talk UK.
It's time. Everyone's all good game, but it don't really faze me. The man that ain't mad like Max, the way that I'm murky like HB. And them gal walk the slide on the back, balling like a baby.
Oi, oi! Welcome to the Pep Talk UK Sports Podcast, the podcast that talks the major boxing and football news from around the globe, real points of view from a real panel. Hashtag real talk on Pep Talk. Please subscribe to Pep Talk UK on iTunes and YouTube. Don't forget to like, share and comment. Now I'm your host, Frankie B, and I'm joined by a sick panel. Firstly, I'd like to welcome back the Frenchman that has more va-va-voom than Thierry Henry. It's the Pep Talk boy, Pascal. How you doing?
Pascal est de retour. I'm very pleased to be back for another exciting show, Frankie B and you.
Feeling wonderful, mate. No, actually, I'm not feeling wonderful. We just lost on Saturday. What am I talking about?
You know, Frankie B, we were quite unlucky. You know, it's not that we didn't try to win the game. You know, when have you ever seen Arsenal possession such a wide range of possession against Manchester United? You know, the statistics, as Big Shaq said, you know, were quite overwhelming. But you know, 35 shots on target, 13 of which were saved. I mean, David De Gea was certainly born to catch balls. That's for sure.
Yeah. And a lot of United fans, they've been teasing us, saying that we're firing blanks.
I do not believe that is the blank firing, because you know we were penetrating for their defense quite well actually, but they just have a remarkable goalkeeper, the best in the world. And you know, my question to you, Frankie B, is if Neymar is worth over 100 million euros, or how much is David De Gea worth?
Indeed. But you know, onto some even better news to cheer us all up. Hey Bell, you two, rescheduled for May the 5th.
You know, the Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, we were looking forward to it. I hope that the weather generally in England is always very nice and sunny, you know, so we expect some good looking women at the show. Thanks to And
is that why David Hay rescheduled it to May, yeah?
I believe that's the reason why. You know, he's a very clever man. You know,
I heard the news. I was like Shannon Briggs. I was like, "Let's go, champ!" Yeah.
Yes.
I said, yeah.
But you know, Frankie B, let's just wait for that day to come and go, because unfortunately, you know, David Hay is a bit of a sick note. You know, he's done this before.
Yes.
You know, he's got a long time to recover. Yeah, let's be positive.
Let's hope so.
Anyway, Pascal, you want to shout out your social media?
Yes, of course, and I've received a lot of compliments. You know, as you know, Frankie B was at the Urban Music Awards, so lots of interesting naked pictures were sent to me. So thank you, ladies. My Twitter is Pascal_Desad, and on Instagram is Pascal_Desad. Merci beaucoup.
Ladies, just make sure he doesn't slip into your DMs. Right, it's time to welcome a Cockney Gooner back in the building once again. It's Kenny Ken. How you doing, brother?
I'm okay. I managed the reason why I managed to get over the result a lot quicker than a lot of our fans is because I accept we were beaten by a better team this weekend, and we're definitely going to go into it. But you know, it's one of those things in football. You know, you could play dominate possession, and you know, like dominate possession, but if you don't do the most important thing, which is called a ball in the net, and the second most important one is defend properly, you end up on the wrong side of results. In terms of the David Hay fight that you mentioned, yeah, it's all well and good, and it's a money maker, and I think that's the biggest theme amongst people in social media. My biggest thing about David Hay is that You can have all the skill in the world when it comes to boxing, but one thing you can never compensate for is a loss of timing. And whether David Haye likes it or not, I noticed in his fight, especially with Tony Bellew, his timing was all wrong. And the first time, that in my opinion has nothing to do with the injury. It just has to do with activity out of the ring. And he got his range wrong. And what will happen again is that I don't see anything different, because he had about 2.5 years out of the ring, maybe 3. Then he started fighting, like I said, hand-picked opponents. And then when he got in the ring with Tony Bellew, who is a live fighter, he doesn't hit as hard as David Haye, especially maybe with his left hook he does. But Tony Bellew is a live fighter. His feet are still quick. His reactions are quicker than him, and he saw David Haye's haymakers coming. I think David Haye actually caught him more with sort of the left hook and maybe the jab than actually the right hand. And when he didn't catch him clean because of the footwork. And I think that's what David Haye needs to take in consideration. I understand that, he's got his pride and everything, but only he's going to realise that his lack of activity may cost him. The same with Tyson Fury. It's 2.5 years. Whether Tyson Fury is a very young man, but by the time he gets in the ring and fights properly, he's going to be 30, 31. Now, I don't care what anyone says. He's still going to have quick feet, he's still going to have his ability, but his timing is not going to be up. I don't care what anyone says. If you're out of the ring for 2 or 3 years, your timing goes. Mike Tyson, when he came out of prison, his timing went. Muhammad Ali lost his footwork and his speed. His timing slowly came back, but he wasn't the same fighter. Inactivity kills fighters. That's all I can say.
We'll say that for the boxing talk, but very insightful. Kenny Ken, you want to shout out your social media before we get going?
I'm Kenny Ken 1972. So at Kenny Ken 1972. I enjoy the Arsenal chat. I love talking about boxing, and that's it. There's no Twitter's to have a laugh. And I went on Twitter to meet new people, make new friends, and share my love of the club, Arsenal Football Club, and other people. That's what Twitter's for me. No beefs at all.
That's right, and and it's Arsenal. FC.
I don't know, in land-wise, we're by far the greatest team, but I don't think other clubs agree with us.
I think we need to edit that song and just say, look, we're the 4th place team.
No, that's all, man. Don't do that. There's a lot of Arsenal fans who are going to be very angry with us, as you well know.
Right. We'll keep it moving. Now, finally, I'd like to welcome another return, an ex-editor for the Ring magazine Ukraine. It's Petar Shugarev. How you doing, bruv?
Hey. Hey, Crasher from Ukraine is at your gates.
Yes, bruv.
Lomachenko for the win,
Lomachenko, that's it. That's why we invited you on. We need to get that Ukrainian feedback, brother.
Yeah, Ukraine is pumped. Ukraine is pumped for this fight. They're waiting. They're waiting for the victory. Yeah.
Indeed. So you've been well? Just been anticipating the big fight?
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm back in boxing media business. Yeah, I'm back on Boxing Room website. It's all doing great. Yeah.
Cracking stuff. Now, Petar, you gonna shout out your social media?
Yeah, sure. As usual, follow me on Gatecrasher UA on Twitter. Also, Gatecrasher UA on Facebook. And if you can read in Russian, welcome to our site. Welcome to our site, Boxing Room. Milosti prosim.
Indeed. I won't translate, but I'll let you Google translate that. Right.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah.
Ladies and gents, for the fight fans locked in, for the football fans locked in, now it's time for some real talk on Pep Talk. Let's go. Yes, we ready. Let's get into it. It's real talk. It's Pep Talk. So we're going to start with the boxing, and we look forward to the very mouth-watering prospect this weekend of Vasyl Lomachenko versus Guillermo Rigondeaux at Madison Square Garden. Now, Pascal, it's finally here. The super fight, the two greatest fighters in Olympic history, fighting for the WBO super featherweight title. How are we seeing this one, Pascal?
Unbelievable. Firstly, Frankie B, I have to get some things off my chest. I am very highly disappointed with top rank promotions, and if I was a boxer, I would certainly look for Al Heyman tomorrow. I'll tell you why. Because that fight should be one of the biggest fights of the year. You know, one of the biggest, that should be biggest Christmas cracker for everybody on the boxing shopping list.
Promotion, yeah.
The fact, no promotion, no press conference. I mean, you know, you have Ukraine are producing some of the best fighters over the last decade.
Yes.
You know, and so there's a legitimate fan base all around the world, certainly in Europe, but also in the United States and in Great Britain and all over the world. You find a Ukrainian person, okay? Also, as far as boxing skill is concerned, you know, you have two of the greatest amateurs in the history of the sport coming head to head against each other, and there's not been any coverage. Shame on you, Top Rank. Shame on you. Shame on you, Bob Arum. In terms of the fight, now how do I see the fight going?
Ooh.
Listen, you know, I mean, it's a very difficult. It's like asking me, Kim, do I want to go with Kim Kardashian or Jennifer Lopez? You know, they both have big butts, and it's a very difficult decision to make. But I have to make a choice. It's a very tough one. Now look,
I know you're a big Rigo fan. I know
I'm a big Rigo fan. I'm a big Cuban boxing fan, you know. I love the Cuban way of boxing. I've been to Cuba, you know, and it's a very charming place, charming people, and I've visited a few boxing gyms out there. And I just love the way that Rigondeaux fights, and I love his history. I also like, you know, I like the fact that he's a fighter in and outside of the ring. He's not being promoted as well because he's a very fair fighter. And I believe that this fight could potentially define him as a boxer. He is, however, 36 years old, so he's quite old in terms of, you know, age. Also, he's a smaller man going to this fight. Lomachenko himself is a phenomenon, a freak of nature, an absolute beast.
The Matrix.
Very talented young man, you know, and also, you know, could potentially become the golden boy and the golden face of Top Rank. Now, in terms of the fight, most will say that Lomachenko wins is a foregone conclusion. I do not believe that is the case. I believe that Rigondeaux has a lot of power in his right hand, and what he done to Nonito Donaire, you know, by showing this power, by showcasing his power during the fight, I believe that we still don't know how strong Lomachenko is. And if Rigondeaux can certainly land telling shots during the fight, this may well are some questions to Lomachenko. Lomachenko may well decide to be slightly more tentative in his approach to the fight, because we see Lomachenko, you know, use his feet very well, used angles, you know, throwing shots from very different places, bamboozling and overwhelming his opponents. But at the same time, has he ever fought anybody as good as Rigondeaux, who is still undefeated?
Yeah.
You know?
And Rigondeaux, he won't move around with him, he'll just wait. You know, he's all about quality work rather than, you know, chasing someone about the ring.
Oui, you're absolutely right, Frankie B. If you remember again, the Nonito Donaire, he stood in the middle of the ring, and he relied heavily on his power, and he showed Donaire, look, if you come, I will hit you, but I will hit you precisely. And Rigondeaux has a very precise punch ratio. He's also a good defensive boxer. He's been caught a few times, you know, we've seen him hurt before, you know, and he's tasted the canvas, but he somehow always finds a way to win. You know, Lomachenko, however, is an exceptional fighter. To me, Frankie B, it's a bit like Vegeta against Goku, you know, and when those two went against each other, we will have to see who can reach the barrier. But whatever the outcome, I'll be very pleased, because this is certainly, you know, for boxing purists like ourselves, so people that love the sport like we do, it is what we want. We want to see the best fighting the best, you know. And although Rigondeaux is jumping two-weight division, for me, it's not much of a big deal, because I remember a very old fighter. I mean, I'm talking before black and white TV even existed. There was a fighter called Sam Langford, you know, who jumped from lightweight to heavyweight. and he's one of the greatest fighters that's ever lived, but not many people know who he is. But he started at lightweight and ended up to become a heavyweight champion. Now, a lot of people are saying that Rigondeaux's 2-weight division is too high. I'm not saying that. I believe that Rigondeaux, he is daring to win, and he's going to prove to all of us that at the very least, even if he loses, he will lose a unanimous decision. I do not believe that he will lose by knockout, and he will work, and he will probably try to frustrate Lomachenko as much as possible. But you know, I've been a big fan of Rigondeaux for a lot longer than I've been a Lomachenko fan. So that's for sure. So because of that, I'm sorry, Frankie B, but I'll have to keep with my guy Rigondeaux, and I'll give Rigondeaux. I believe Rigo will win a split decision, and it's going to be a very difficult win because Top Rank and everybody is supporting Lomachenko. But I think that he could be an upset.
But you talked about Rigondeaux's power, but you've got to remember he's moving up 2 weight classes. And there's 2 points here. First of all, you can't hurt what you can't hit. Lomachenko don't stand still, alright? And secondly, going up 2 weight classes, how's that power going to transfer at the weight?
You know, for me, when I look at those 2 gentlemen, they're not considerably as Lomachenko is not as big as, I believe most people are making out to be. Most people are saying that a big little man beats a good smaller man. Fair enough. There are weight divisions in boxing for that reason. But, there also are exceptions to the rule. For instance, Mike Tyson was an exception to the rule when he came to heavyweight boxing. He was smaller, he was shorter than most heavyweight we have today, and still managed to become one of the, the most memorable of heavyweight, in the history of
say Lennox Lewis dealt with him, a good big man dealt with a good little man. He
certainly did, but a good Frank Heniken made a valid point that this unfortunate time in prison took a lot away from Mike Tyson. We don't know what happened in prison. Also, we're hearing a lot of rumors, but we're not going into that.
That's another podcast, yeah.
But that's another podcast, of course. But we love Mike Tyson; he's one of my favorites. But a lot of things happen, so we don't know whether that aggression that Mike Tyson once had, that invisibility, now can be eroded in a correctional facility. But Rigondeaux is an undefeated fighter. He needs mine. He cannot be beaten. He's not tasted defeat before, so he has that mental advantage. Rigondeaux also has a longer reach than Lomachenko. So yes, you're saying that Lomachenko moves very quickly. It's very difficult to catch him. He's like the Flash in the ring. But at the same time, Rigondeaux has exceptional timing. And we know that timing can almost negate speed. So it's going to be a high-tech, pardon the pun, but a high-tech chess match between 2 of the greatest fighters in the sport. And I think that the fighter with the better mental edge and with the better mental tenacity will win the fight, because skill for skill, they're just as good as each other.
And they do say styles make fights, right? And this is exactly that.
Absolutely.
2 different styles.
Absolutely. Loma, however, he bounces a lot, and I think that Loma's bouncing can take away some of the power, because Loma doesn't stand still and doesn't plant his feet very well, but he moves a lot and creates angles, and I think by doing that, he reduces a lot of his punching power, whereas Rigondeaux, stands quite still and harnesses as much as power as possible, and so I will give Rigondeaux the power advantage, believe it or not. Though he's a smaller man, I would give him that, because naturally I think that Rigondeaux has been able to channel that power very well, and I believe that he will carry that power through. But if he doesn't carry that power through, then Rigondeaux could be in very big trouble.
Rigondeaux could be that little feisty Jack Russell. Now, better Rigondeaux, as we mentioned, is coming up 2 weight classes. A lot of people say that automatically makes Lomachenko the favourite. Do you agree with such statements?
Yeah, I think Lomachenko is a slight favourite. Only a slight favourite. Of course, it's going to be the weight is going to be a factor. I'm not going to deny it. I think the main thing about this fight is we have one of the best, if not the best, boxer in the world, in Rigo. And one of the best, if not the best fighter in the world. Yeah, Rigo is proficient. He can move. He can. His thing is he can move. He uses his distance. He controls his opponent. He boxes really well. Yeah. While Lomachenko, he can do all those things too.
And
he can do it good. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Not only side, he can really pump his offense up if he needs to. I think this fight will go first 4 or 5 rounds. It'll be very competitive. Will be winning rounds, maybe 3 or 4 of them. But as the fight progresses, I think Lomachenko's weight and skill and attack is gonna tire him out. He's gonna figure Rigondeaux out. I think he will win competitive decision in the end.
Yeah, by decision. But again, once we hit the scorecards these days, I really don't know what's going to happen. People are looking for different things.
Absolutely, yeah.
And again, Lomachenko, he looks exciting in the eye. But then the quality of work and picking the shots and being precise could be that of Rigondeaux. So really, if we get a decision, it could be anybody's fight.
Yeah, it's all going back to the judges. Judges like Rigo's cuteness, or the pressure of Lomachenko. That's what make it really exciting.
Exactly. As we alluded to, styles make fighters, and these are 2 different fighters, but excellent fighters. Now, Kenny Ken.
Hello.
Rigondeaux, like I said, he's going to have to make some adjustments to beat a much younger and bigger fighter in Lomachenko.
Well, the thing about it is that I hear a lot of what you said earlier about carrying the power like over a couple of weights, which Rigondeaux's going to do. But let's not forget ourselves. Andre Ward beat a very, very, very powerful fighter on Kovalev. Now, one of the things that Andre Ward did in the first fight was he negated his strengths. His timing was fantastic, and like I said, his jab and his move was fantastic. In the second fight, let's be honest. He battered Kovalev, beat him up. Kovalev started very well on the fight, and he beat him up. And it wasn't the second time, but it was just timing. And I think what it is that Rigondeaux has got the experience. He has got the timing as well. And I think it doesn't matter whether you have power or not, it's timing. A good boxer will be a powerful fighter. Now, in terms of Lomachenko is very great. Is a very good fighter potentially, but he has had defeat. He hasn't got Rigondeaux's experience. Yeah, so see, that was a split decision. It was very controversial as well, I thought. Yeah. But in terms of that, it's not a foregone conclusion. I know Lomachenko's saying that he's going to walk straight through Rigondeaux's punches, and he's going to put on a show and everything. And that's great if you want to sell tickets. But he's not fighting a mug. And one thing I will say when I watch these fights, and experience told me over 30 to 40 years of watching boxing, fighters like Lomachenko could fall short this Saturday, and although he should be the winner, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets stopped in the later rounds. The reason why I won't say to get stopped in the later rounds is that it's all about timing and accumulation of punches. Now, you don't have to have that knockout punch, but it's accumulation in terms of scoring punches. One thing Rigondeaux does is he's an accurate puncher. And one of the things I said to you in previous podcasts as well is that if you're a great fighter, you should only be hit with at least maybe anything under 10% of the shots that you receive. I do feel that Rigondeaux is going to catch Lomachenko with more than 10% of the shots, and that's why I'm very scared for Lomachenko. On paper he's the favourite, but you just don't know boxing. The guy's got experience, he's undefeated, And what will happen is that accuracy beats speed. Always has done in boxing. I don't care what anyone says. Speed is fantastic, but accuracy beats speed. George Groves, Carl Froch. George Groves the better fighter, better jab, quick with his feet,
quicker, yeah.
quick with his punch, great. But Carl Froch is not just a powerful man, he's an accurate puncher, and he doesn't waste his punches. And when he caught George Groves, it was good night at Wembley. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's a late stoppage or a Rigondeaux win by a majority decision.
Well, Pascal, if that does happen, the business plan of Bob Arum will go totally out the window.
He certainly will,
He'll have to rely on Terence Crawford to be his shining hope for the future.
Absolutely, Frankie B. I am certainly not saying that Rigondeaux will shut out Lomachenko like that. I believe that Rigondeaux will rise to the occasion, and I believe that his size will not be a major factor in the fight. I believe that I echo some of the things that Kenny saying in terms of the talent of Rigondeaux, and the experience, his amateur experience, and also his professional experience also will come into play. But for me, it's all about the mental fortitude of both fighters, and whilst Rigondeaux and Lomachenko are both exceptionally, remarkable talents, to me comes down to who wants it the most and who will be able to showcase that talent. And
one thing I do know is Lomachenko won't be doing that matador taunting to Rigondeaux during the fight. Right, guys, we're going to move on now. This weekend sees the return of the IBF super middleweight champion James Chunky DeGale at the Copper Box Arena this weekend as he takes on the American Caleb Trucks on the Frank Warren show entitled "The Boys Are Back in Town." Pascal, you remember that song? The boys are back in town. No, on a serious note, James DeGale, he's been out for a long time. Since that draw with Badu Jack out in Vegas, he's been injured and he's been out for a while, and he's been trying to get himself back in good working order, but he's now made a return on the Frank Warren show. Could his lack of inactivity affect him in this fight, like Carl Frampton?
Well, there's always a bit of a. I believe that the fighters have two fights. There's the physical fight against the opponent that they have in the ring, but there's also that mental fight. When you're in the shower and you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you tell yourself, "Can I still do it? Am I still the champion that that the world thinks I am?" I believe that James DeGale is a very, very self-confident young man. He's also very skillful. He claims that he's been fighting with one arm the whole time. And if that is the case, we will certainly see whether the operation went well for him, because Truax is a good opponent to put in with James DeGale. He's been in with the likes of Daniel Jacobs, Anthony Dirrell, and Jermaine Taylor. So he's got
he dropped
good.
Taylor as well.
And he dropped Taylor, yes. Though he lost to Taylor, he dropped him. And he's got good experience at professional level. So, on paper, you expect James DeGale to win the fight, quite comfortably. You expect him to some extent, even stop Truax if the rumors are true that he was fighting with one arm. If he doesn't drop Truax, if he goes to the scorecards, then it could be as a result of ring rust, as they say, of inactivity, and perhaps James DeGale can work his way up to the fight with Benavidez or other notable.
And Benavidez is special. He is really good.
Benavidez is an excellent fighter, yeah, and I think we will have to maybe the prospect of an all-English fight with Chris Eubank Jr. or even George Groves. So there's some good fights out there for James. So I think that James would be taking this fight very seriously, and it's in his his interest to make a good account of himself on Saturday night. But I think James will come on top. He's been training very well, training quite diligently. We all know that James sometimes can also switch off during a fight. He tends to lose a bit of concentration. We've seen him a few times looking at the ringers, whilst he should be looking at the opponent. So, there is that there is that inconsistency sometimes from James DeGale. But you know, in theory, I expect James DeGale to dispatch of Truex. I would like to see James DeGale stop him. Yeah. You know, because I think that James is a better fighter, better movement. He's got a bit more power as well, in my opinion, than Truex has. You know, because, you know, I mean, the Jermaine Taylor, he's an aging boxer, and his legs has gone now. But you know, against James DeGale would be interesting to see whether Truex can do what Badu Jack did to James. And
but Truex is definitely creditable because he took Terrell and Jacobs the distance. You know, so he must be half decent.
Yes, he certainly is. I think it's a great fight for James DeGale to be back from. You know, some will argue that it could be a dangerous fight simply on the basis that James DeGale can switch off during fights. He doesn't concentrate as much as he should, but, you know, in terms of skill and levels, you know, James DeGale has excellent footwork, you know, and his picking of angles is quite superb. And as I said before, he complained of having a problem with his shoulder for quite some time, and if his shoulder, you know, the problem doesn't reoccur during the fight, and even if there's a problem during the fight where he feels a slight pinch or a slight discomfort, then, you know, could be a very long night, you know, and James could potentially have to go to the scorecard to win that fight, and that will certainly not be the type of you know, of opening fight that Frank Warren is expecting from James DeGale. Frank Warren needs James DeGale to have a decisive victory so that those big fights that we talked about can be made.
Indeed. Petter, are you looking forward to the return of Chunky James DeGale?
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of Chunky. Yeah, so glad he's back this Saturday. Yeah, it's been a while. Those shoulder injuries can be nasty, career ending even. Yeah, I'm so glad.
Especially, you know, as a boxer, you need to use both your hands, and to get that that power, you need that shoulder movement, you know.
Yeah, we don't know how it bothered him in the past fights against Badu Jack. Yeah, how it would went if he would have full use of his both hands. Pretty exciting, huh?
Very exciting. I mean, I expect James DeGale to get the W this weekend. But in your view, should he be a bigger star than what he is? He is the IBF champion, but some would say he should really be more of a household name in world boxing. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I agree. He's don't forget, he's an Olympic champion in 2008 Olympic Games. Yeah. So I think he should think comfortably this Saturday against Truex. Truex is not a bad fighter by any means, but if Chunky is at least at 75%, I think he beats him comfortably, even by TKO maybe.
Indeed.
As for him being the biggest star, I think he's in the right division for that. We have Eubank Jr., we have Groves, we have
Callum Smith,
yeah. All British matchups, all great. Possibly a road to stardom for Chunky, yeah.
I mean, Kenny Ken, it seems like that. It seems that, as we alluded to, James DeGale should get far more credit for what he's achieved. But, you know, if he gets through this fight unscathed and he takes on the winner of the World Boxing Super Series, that will definitely cement his legacy if he wins that one.
100%. I think you've got to realise that Carl Froch is a very hard act to follow for a lot of super middleweights in this country, as was Carl found it hard to follow Calzaghe in terms of his legacy.
There was a big rivalry with that. Yeah.
But I think if you talk about what Calzaghe is, I remember hearing an interview with Calzaghe on IFL London, and one of the things he lamented was the fact that when he was in his pomp, he didn't have a Super 6 series, because what was happening is that he was fighting his rivals, you know, his rivals like Jones, etc. He was fighting them when they're coming towards the end of their careers. In terms, I think the only live fight he fought was probably Jeff Lacey, and unfortunately for Jeff Lacey, he was found out, cruelly found out by Joe in that fight in 2006 in Manchester, where Joe just took him apart and he exposed every technical deficiency in his boxing. But in terms of James DeGale, in terms of his legacy, I think if he was fit, this tournament would be fantastic for him, because he will be fighting the best fighters in the super middleweight, because the super middleweight scene in this country is very strong. And but one thing is that if James DeGale comes through his shoulder injury, which I expect him to do, then there's some good fights out for him. You know, like I said, it could be a rematch with George Groves. It could be even a fight with Chris Eubank Jr., who's
there's a bit of needle in that.
Yeah, and then there's Karen Smith, although I don't think there's any needle with Karen Smith, because I believe that James is very good friends with one of the Smiths, because they're in I think they're in the British Olympic team, if I correctly, in 2008, and definitely an amateur career. I don't know which Smith brother he's friends with, but he's very close friends with one of them, so there wouldn't be too much needle. But Callum is a very good fighter, and he's very big at the weight. So if James was to face the winner, and then probably face the winner and then defend his title a few times, or even have a few maybe fight a Callum Smith again, that would definitely cement his legacy, because he's fighting live fighters, and I think that's what it is with boxing. As Bert Sugar used to say,
and he probably hasn't been helped as well by the fact that he's been fighting away. He's been a road warrior.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that you've got to realise after he lost to George Groves, TV weren't interested in James DeGale. He fell out of a few of his promoters.
Yeah, that's right.
George Groves was getting the money fights. He fought after George Groves fought James. He fought like I said, he fought Paul Smith Jr. Then he went up. He was he was on Carl Froch's coattails, and after he won his fight in 2013, which basically eliminated him to fight Carl Froch, he was in the limelight. So like the irony of the whole thing was that at Wembley, when Carl Froch was fighting George Groves, James DeGale was on the undercard. And James won his fight in the undercards by a beautiful knockout with his left hand knock it to the guy's head off.
Yeah,
and
I remember that. Yeah,
it's like one train leaves destination. George is going one way and James goes past him, and he had his big money fight, which Eddie Hearn did very well in securing for him with Andre Durrell. And I know for a fact that happened, because I was actually there when it got negotiated, because me and my wife, we're boxing tragics, and we were actually staying at Wembley Hilton, so we were there with all the fighters, and I could see Eddie Hearn talking to Ambrose Mendy, who was James's advisor, and he actually mentioned it word for word. He said, because just as Eddie O was going, he said, look, give me a call tomorrow, we'll arrange something, and like I said, we'll get him that big fight he's looking for abroad, a world title fight. I remember kicking my wife on the table, and then alas, Eddie delivers. But as you know, he's now out of Heyman, and he's fallen out of Eddie Hearn, and he's now gone with Frank Warren. So
Frank Warren, yeah. Well, it's a one fight deal, Frank Warren, but they might do more business. Yeah. I
don't know. I think the thing is that James, like I said, as you said before, in terms of his legacy, not only does he want to, have the sort of legacy that Carl Froch and Shalzaki has, he wants to earn money as well, because he said, in his words, he's a prize fighter. So there are some big money fights out there, and all the fights that he can potentially have, Chris Eubank Jr. as a pay-per-view. I'm not sure it'll be on Sky, probably going to be an ITV box office, but George Groves, that's a Sky box office fight, easily. And whoever gets a license to promote that's who knows, I might see all of you guys at Wembley Stadium, because it's definitely going to be at Wembley. It's at Wembley, both the guys, West London boys, George from Hammersmith, James DeGale's from Harlesden, like I said, one supports Arsenal, one supports
Chelsea. Yeah.
Chelsea. The other one has got QPR connections, so QPR and Arsenal fans be cheering for James. And hey, I should be a promoter.
Kenny Heyman, mate. I see that right now.
Exactly. James should take me number.
yeah, we look forward to it. He looked really sharp at the media workout the other day, so I expect Chunky to come through with flying colours.
Just in 1 minute. One thing about it, right, is that Chunky doesn't have to give the public what the public going to want to knock out. Just get through it. It's all about a fitness test. Test the shoulder. You know, like I said, you don't have to look good. You're the champion. The fighters come to you. You don't have to look for the fighters. Just get through it.
And he's got to pace himself. He's been out of the ring for a long time.
So a lot of boxing fans want to see the opponent unconscious, and you know it puts bums on seats and you know pays the wages. But this is a fitness test for James.
Indeedy. Now, just to conclude, Pascal, we saw the retirement after 17 years at the Garden. Miguel Cotto. Any French tributes, Pascal, to the former 6-time world champion in 4 different weight classes?
Oui, bien sûr. La France voudrait féliciter Miguel Cotto pour des années de inoubliables de boxing. You know, basically what I just said is that, you know, France would like to thank Miguel Cotto for 17 years of a remarkable career in boxing. You know, he was certainly one of my favorites. You know, I always liked the demeanor of Miguel Cotto, and he was always very good to see him coming through with his missus behind him also. He was very attractive, and you know, we like Miguel Cotto because, you know, he's certainly the type of man that has never ducked any fights.
Yes.
You know, he's been in some incredible wars. Win or lose, he's been an exciting fighter. I'm a bit disappointed at his choice of trainer towards the last of his career, because, you know, if you look at the 2 important fights that Miguel Cotto lost, you know, the one against Alvarez and the one most notably against Saddam Ali, I would have both about a unanimous decision. I mean, it just makes you think whether, you know, Freddie Roach is he really the world class coach?
Well, that people question. They said, when was the last time Freddie Roach, you know, actually got a W? A lot of people are saying that.
It's a bit. I mean, you know, I respect Freddie. I respect him a lot. He's he will go down as a Hall of Fame kind of trainer. But, you know, I mean, the fight against Saddam Ali should have done a lot better than what happened, you know, on Saturday. You know, I felt that Saddam was almost given as a present, you know, to Miguel as a farewell fight. You know, people wanted the fairy tale ending to end with a win. Unfortunately, for Miguel Cotto, it was a unanimous decision loss, you know, which is concerning because Saddam Ali, you know, came up, in weight class to meet Miguel Cotto that was quite comfortable at that class, you know, and it just makes you wonder whether the preparation, whether the tactics that were discussed between the two, you know, trainer and fighter were good enough, or was the age a factor? You know, was the mental...
Probably the mileage could be a factor.
The mileage, of course, you know, Miguel Cotto has taken, you know, some severe beatings in his fights, in his career, but at the same time, you know, I didn't expect Saddam Ali to comprehensively, you know, deal with Miguel Cotto. You know, Miguel Cotto was always known for his left hook, very powerful left hook, and we didn't see much of that, you know, in the fight. I felt that there were at least 3 or 4 occasions during the fight when Saddam Ali's right hand, you know, imposed itself on Miguel, and Miguel was a bit concerned about the power, you know, because that famous, parlay shake that you talk about, Frankie B, I saw that, and that fight was in Brooklyn, you know, so I was a bit concerned by that, but I saw Miguel Cotto's legs shake a few times, and it wasn't the Macarena he was doing.
That was quite early as well.
He was quite earlier on, and you know, and Freddie Roach has never been a defensive coach. He's always been an offensive coach, and I believe that Cotto's a very good offensive fighter, but I believe that where he was lacking is in his defensive abilities, because he fights a lot more with his face than he does with his body, and at that age, I think that he has not preserved himself very well over the course of his career, and I think that Saddam Ali took advantage of that. But credit to Saddam Ali for taking the opportunity. You know, they say that success is when opportunity and preparation meet, and certainly Saddam Ali prepared himself very well for that fight, and he's now a worthy, world champion, although I do not think that he will hold on to that belt a very long time.
Kell Brooks targeted him already.
Certainly,
154.
The vultures are going to be, surrounding Saddam Ali as an easy pack lunch, I'm afraid, because you also got the Charlos interested in that fight. You may even have the likes of, the Keith Thurman and the welterweight guys coming up and wanting to have a jab at Saddam Ali. Let's not forget that Ali lost to Vargas also in his career, so he's not an undefeated fighter. His chin has been tested before, and he's lost before. So, but for Ali, credit to him, he will be making a lot of money. And if Kell Brook can get that fight, that will be a cracky fight for Kell Brook, another opportunity for him to claim a world title. I wouldn't be surprised even if Amir Khan comes out of the jungle and targets.
He might leave prematurely.
You could potentially do that.
Cracking stuff, guys. Cracking stuff. Now it's interview time. Now ahead of the Frank Warren card this weekend at the Copper Box Arena, entitled "The Boys Are Back in Town." Heavy D and myself were at Peacock's Gym in East London, speaking to two fighters that will feature come fight night. Now first up is the man that is the WBO European Light Heavyweight Champion and the WBO Intercontinental Light Heavyweight Champion. It's the man they call Yardos, Mr. Anthony Yarde.
Oi, oi, it's Frankie B, and we're at Peacock's Gym, East London, with the one and only Yardos. Yeah. Anthony Yarde, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, B, how are you?
I'm doing well, mate. All the better for seeing you. Looking more ready, mate.
Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. My face is slim.
All chiseled.
All chiseled. Get me, the abs are there. Yeah, I'm ready, man. Fight night.
Funny thing is, before I got here, I was playing Future, mask off, and I'm like, gotta represent. And I'm like,
that's
Anthony Yarde.
That's it, man. Come on, man. You gotta represent. That's it.
So we know you're under the stewardship of one Tunde Ajayi. I know you're going to be well prepared for the fight. How actually have preparations gone for the fight so far?
Well, it's been the same. I've trained for every fight the same. I feel like that's why you've got the results that you've got so far, because this is, at the end of the day, this is my life. What you do is, I put 100. I went to a thing yesterday in Hackney with some kids that they get kicked out of school and stuff, and then they end up in a different type of school where they do boxing and stuff as well. And one of the things I was saying to the children are, you get out what you put in, and any other route you take is the easy route. It's a way out. You get me? So I dare you, try to do something 100%. Give something 100% and see what happens. Like, just you focusing on 10 things at once, things that don't matter. I said focus on one thing and give it 100% and see what happens for you.
I think I'm going to try that with a bit of weight loss. I'm going to focus on no carbs for a month before Christmas.
But you know what it is? Even with the no weight, like no carbs thing, you will feel lethargic. You won't have no energy. Carbohydrates are used to, they break down proteins. People don't used to do your research on food, and that's what I mean. People think, he struggles to make weight over. I know what I'm doing. You get me? Just cut out sugars. It's simple stuff. Eat the same kind of things, but try and cut out sugars.
So no Haribo.
No Haribos, no chocolate. That's why I'm moody. That's why I'm moody. Because I ain't got my sugar intake. But you know it's sacrifice, isn't it? So give something 100% and see what you get out of it.
Okay, cracking. Now back to the fight. Now your opponent. Do you know much about him? I mean, how are you prepared for him? Are you prepared for him in any special way?
I see it as a fight's a fight. The way he might fight 30 other people, he might fight me different, so I'll just focus on myself. All I know about him is that he's a 2-time world title challenger. He's never been knocked out, and he's been in there with top opposition. Like, I'm talking about people that have fought for world titles. The only other person to beat him that hasn't got a world title yet is Callum Smith, and I'm sure Callum Smith, I think he's mandatory for the world title. So he's lost 4 times, he's won 32, and he's never been knocked out. 2-time world title challenger, so I'm taking it serious.
So you aim to put another L on his record, yeah?
First to knock him out as well.
Cracking stuff.
Boom.
So,
come on. Yes.
Right, now.
I just found out he's an Arsenal fan. Just found out. Arsenal.
By Heavy D.
You reckon we're going to win the league?
I hope so.
Good question about
Yeah.
I hope
It's
so.
a boxing and football podcast after all.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Exactly.
Now, Anthony, there's some people out there that would probably, like a fight with Frank Buglioni. What's your viewpoint on that? Will that take place 2018?
Well, I said this from the beginning. I'm not basing my career on no other human being. I'm basing my career on myself. Frank Buglioni called me out. We set the fight. I tried to fight Frank Buglioni in my 8th fight. He turned it down. And then we tried to fight him again. He said it's not enough money. So then he's called me out, and Frank said, okay, let's make the fight happen. I'm talking about Frank Warren. He said, let's make this fight happen. They made him an offer. He said it's not enough, and it was a lot of money. So they said, okay, we'll offer you 100 grand.
Do you need Frank Buglioni? I don't need Frank Buglioni.
I definitely don't need no human being.
What about the British belt? You don't want the British title?
Again, if I can pick up the British belt along the way, fantastic. But again, I've said this from the beginning. When I was an amateur, I said to my amateur coach, I want to be a good professional. When I turned professional, I said I want a world title. So whatever route it takes to get there, that's what I want to do. I want to become a world champion and then maintain it. People forget that a boxing career is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Yeah. It's not a 5-year thing, it's not a 6-year thing. Try and make it 10 years plus, because after boxing, most boxers, what do you see? They end up broke, they ain't got nothing, because all they know is boxing, ain't got the faculty about it, and they don't know anything other than boxing. So it's about having a long career. It's not even about protecting your own or nothing like that. It's about establishing yourself, getting yourself out there, doing the best you can do for yourself. I want to stay undefeated. I want to, do the best I can. I think I beat Buglioni, and I'm not even going to say what round I stop him or whatever, but I think I beat him. I'm just confident in myself. It's not being bragging or arrogant. It's just having confidence in yourself.
What's your priority now, the world or the British? Because I know that the British title right now it's gone up in everyone's estimations. Everyone used to disregard the British title, but now it carries a lot of weight now. So
it definitely carries weight. Having a British belt is, it's for me, it's more of having the honour of having a British belt. It's a prestige belt. Being a champion in your country as well is a fantastic thing. But again, once you're a champion of the world, it's a bigger honour, because you're champion of the whole world.
Yeah.
The world is bigger than one country. Yeah. So if I can pick up the British along the way, again, fantastic. That's something I would love to do. But again, there's a lot of politics in boxing. I'll explain to everybody how it happened. Frank Buglioni got pressure put on him, saying fight Anthony Yarde. It was all over his social media. It's things I didn't even know about this, but people kept tagging me and him in the same things. Fight Anthony Yarde. He bit back, put a post up, put my face on his page, and said, after I fight Ricky Summers, I'll fight Anthony Yarde. Nothing's come out of my mouth up till today. I haven't mentioned his name apart from when I'm doing interviews. So after the Ricky Summers fight, he's put out another post saying, I'm ready now to take another undefeated record, Anthony Yarde. So I was like, wow, this guy's really called Frank. I said, Frank, make this guy offer, please, so we can get this fight happening. They offered him £120,000. Done a press conference about it. He said, fight Jose Burton, a guy I've just knocked out, and then you can fight me. Am I in some waiting line? Like, I'm not even holding on to this, but I've got a top 10 ranking in the WBO, so
that's the same thing that Eddie Hearn done with the Wilder thing, saying about the Dillian White. Same sort of thing. Fight someone first.
But I can't really talk on that subject. I feel like Dillian White again is a bigger fighter. That's world level. It's a bit different.
Yeah.
It's a bit different. But I'm seeing it as this. I've got a top 10 ranking with a WBO.
Yeah.
I don't think Buglioni or Jose Burton's got a ranking with the WBO.
Do you think that Frank's calling you out because he wants to get you earlier rather than later? Because if he waits later...
No, because he don't want to fight me. If he wanted to fight me, we would have fought by now.
Yeah.
So he's only calling me out to take pressure off himself. So he's calling me out before I call him out. If I call him out now, it makes him look bad. But he's called me out now and said, okay, I said I will fight you, but fight this guy first. Where, again, it slows down my progression. It slows down my process. If I'm going to fight you for the British, let me fight you now. So I've got the British, I'm a WBO, and then if I want to, so I've won the British, if I want to vacate that British afterwards and carry on my route to become a world champion, I can do that. But you want me to fight this fight, wait a few months, fight you, well, you might pull out anyway. That's what he does. He said he wants to win the belt outright. When he wins it outright, he might vacate it anyway. So I know how this boxing thing goes.
So you think he's got no intention of fighting you?
I don't think he's got any intention of fighting me right now.
Yeah.
So maybe down the line, when I get a world title, because you have to talk positive. When I get a world title,
yes,
he might be again around the same thing. So he might say, "Yeah, now I want to fight," or I might be world title contender, or my name might keep boosting. He might lose a fight, and then say, "Oh yeah, let me fight Anthony Yarde." So again, I'm saying I'm still at that stage in my career where I'm progressing. I'm taking each fight as it comes. My next opponent, has had 36 fights, lost 4 against world title challengers, top opposition, and he's never been knocked out with all these guys that he's fought. He's gone 12 rounds with Callum Smith, 12 rounds with Saki Obika, 12 rounds with all these other guys. This is what Tunde's telling him. Because I don't really care about my opponent. It's put them in front of me and I'll fight. You get me? So that's all it is.
Cracking stuff, Mr. Anthony Yarde. We wish you the best come fight night at the Copper Box. I know the master's going to be up. I know you're going to represent, right?
Mask off, come on. Always representing. Beast from the East. Remember where you come from.
My G. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony Yarde. And a massive big up to his trainer, Tunde Ajayi. Big up, Stamina for Sale. Right, finally, we caught up with a man that will make his debut at the Copper Box. It's the super flyweight, Harvey Horn.
Oi, oi, it's Pep Talk UK, and I'm joined by a super flyweight, which is Mr. Harvey Horn. How you doing, geez?
I'm good, thanks, boss. Yourself?
Doing well. So we're at Peacocks. You just put in a hell of a session with some good rounds, got some good sparring in. Now, you're fighting next weekend, the 9th at the Copper Box Arena. Massive show, big crowds. You look like you're ready, mate.
No, I'm definitely ready. Like you just said, I did 5-6 rounds, good solid rounds with undefeated bantamweight Jake Pettit. I'm in top shape. I'm ready for anything. Like I said, it's my debut, so I'm looking to impress. It's a big show, so I'm looking for a big performance.
So how has preparations gone overall? Have you had a long camp? Has it been a short one? Have you found things quite intense, or have you just kind of eased your way into this massive bill?
Well, I'm with trainer Mark Tibbs, and he's eased me into the pro game very well. The transition's been really smooth, a lot smoother than I expected. But now we've stepped it up. We're in the last 2 weeks. We've stepped it up. We've had good hard rounds behind us, and like I said, I don't think that we've left no stone unturned. So no matter who's in front of me, I'm looking to take them out.
So you've been putting in that solid graft. No chocolate bars, no McDonald's milkshakes, nothing. Solid graft.
Nothing like that. And no Chinese. I'm gutted.
On a more serious note, your opponent comes with half a decent pedigree from the Czech Republic, undefeated and all. Do you know much about him?
No, I don't know too much about him. I know that he's undefeated. I know he's from the Czech Republic, but apart from that, I know he's a bantamweight originally, so he's coming down to fight me. But there's not much, like I said, with no stone unturned in training, there's not much he's going to bring to the table that I'm not going to be able to answer. So,
any predictions, stoppage, knockout to impress all the fans at the Copper Box?
I'm not one for predictions, but I am looking to impress, and if he gets out of it, if I get him out of there, I'll get him out of there. But I think I will. I'm confident I will, but I'm not looking for it. So.
Cracking stuff. We'd like to thank Mr. Harvey Horn, and we'd like to also give him a massive wish of good luck on the Copper Box Arena, December the 9th. Frank Warren Show, all the best, Harvey.
Thank you very much, Pep Talk UK.
Big up, nice.
That's one.
Cracking stuff, Harvey. We wish you all the best on your debut. Go get him, champ. Now it's football time, so we're going to talk the Premier League. And let's welcome back Pep Talk boy MJ. How you doing, mate?
Frankie B, MJ, back in the building. Actually, Frankie B, I'm super excited because we had a week in which Liverpool actually picked up 6 points from 2 games. But what's more importantly is that the team goes when Arsenal fans were starting to think that they were hot after battering Tottenham, which all credit was due, David De Gea actually showed the Arsenal AOL, you're not as hot as you think you are, but you know what, there's so much time to discuss this and all the other exciting topics.
Yeah, and this is what happens when David De Gea has a bit of the jerk chicken that's served outside the ground, you know. Performs miracles, mate.
To be honest, you know what, Frankie B, this is more than jerk chicken. I think he had some voodoo placed on him. You know, so I'm not sure who the African player is in Manchester United, but I'm suspecting foul play. Some of those saves were just not of the Lord.
I'm telling you. Alright, well, let's predict some of the games. First of all, there's a massive game in Manchester this weekend. It's the Manchester derby. Now, Pascal.
Wait.
Massive game. Man United just come off getting the victory. Some might call it a smash and grab against Arsenal. But this really will see if their defence can hold up against, the best attack in Man City in the league, mate.
I certainly agree. It was an important game for Manchester United at the weekend to beat Arsenal. It was a very unfortunate game for the Gunners, who up until that defeat, proved to make the Emirates a fortress. I still believe it's a fortress. He was one of those who did these hoodoos of games, and sometimes in football you have those going on. But in terms of the league decider, can we say, is Saturday going to be a deciding factor? I would probably say yes. It's one of those blockbuster games where you've got the best attacking force, assembled force so far this season, who are prolific. They've not lost a game, so they're also not only are they chasing the title, but they're also chasing Arsenal, unbeaten record of winning the league title, and they have to be stopped. So I'm a bit conflicted by that, Frankie B, because I detest Manchester United, and I certainly want Manchester City to inflict a defeat. I do not like the way that Jose Mourinho is playing with this new Manchester United team.
I didn't really like the Millie Rock that Lingard did when he scored his second goal.
Not particularly keen on that. For me, Manchester United have lost their identity as a team. I'm not sure what they are or what they try to play to. It's just they certainly don't have the same charm as when Ferguson was coaching them, and to me there's still a very big gap to fill. Ferguson still remains the top manager, at Manchester United. But in terms of the future and the present, I think that the Manchester City side has an opportunity to cement themselves as the top side, not only in England but in Europe. And I fancy Manchester City to win. I believe that Mourinho will be very careful. He will set the team up quite defensively. I'll predict that there will probably be 5 in midfield. He will try to stifle and frustrate, the Manchester City side. The two players to be mindful of for me are De Bruyne and Sterling, because those two have been playing very well. Sterling he needs to be checked for steroid abuse, because I think that there's extra jerk pepper in his chicken, because he's finding the net every game almost, and he's the player to watch.
And that's what happens, when you have a bit of extra macaroni cheese as well on the side, you start to score goals from outside the box, mate.
I'm quite pleased to see that, because for quite a long time, and I'm sure MJ is bitter about that, because when he was at Liverpool he showed promise, but at Manchester City he's now proving to be the player that Manchester City purchased, so that acquisition is paying dividends now, and it's good for England, certainly, for him to remain fit into the World Cup next year. If Sterling can replicate that for the national side, I'm sure that England will benefit from it a lot better. But as far as Saturday is concerned, I hope that this week is the game on Saturday, Frankie B, or Sunday. I believe it's a Sunday, Super Sunday, isn't it?
Super Sunday. Okay.
So sorry, Super Sunday, because
Old Trafford.
The Merseyside derby is also on that weekend. I want Sterling to show more panache, more pizzazz, and I want him to score against David Day at least a couple of times. And I certainly want the league to be shut out. I think that Manchester City deserve to win it. They will win the title, and a win against Manchester United this weekend would cement that. So I predict that it would be a 2-1 victory for Manchester City.
Ooh. MJ?
You know what? I hope we don't have any closet Manchester City fans in the building.
No.
They actually live in Manchester. They do. The City fans. It's the United fans.
No, listen. The reason why I'm saying this is because I'm actually going to go with the City win as well. And obviously, I detest United to the absolute core. Anyone who knows me knows that. But you know what? I'm also beginning to detest this Pep Guardiola character. Just some of his antics are just not really the best.
Yeah. What was that all about with Redmond?
Well, apparently he was actually telling Redmond that he's a quality player and he needs to attack more. And Redmond is on his radar as opposed to defending.
Kenny Ken, there's two Man Cities.
I disagree with everything you both said, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Last week, people were telling them to listen after Huddersfield that Jose would not park the bus, because the reason why Jose would not park the bus is because he had to win at the Emirates in order to set himself up for the game against Man City, and I stand by that, and I was proved right. Jose did not park the bus at the Emirates. What Jose did, AJ, let me finish. No, he did not. What he did is that he recognised that Arsenal defenders like time on the ball. So what you do when you have players who like time on the ball, what you do is you press them and you enforce the mistakes. Jose went with a 4. He had Pogba supporting the attack, he had Lingard on one side, he had Martial on one side, he had Lukaku. That is not parking the bus, that is going for the win, and they went for the win. And when they went 2-0 up, they rode their luck, and then the only time Jose parked the bus is when they went down to 10 men, and then he started bringing on Darmian, and he closed it up, which he should have done, but the win was secure. And I'll tell you one thing, you're right about one thing, is that teams that played Man City, Southampton, West Ham, what they did is that they were very athletic and they put men behind the ball. But let me tell you something like that. Jose can do that, but he's got quality on the other end. What you said about Lukaku being one-dimensional, again, on Saturday he was not one-dimensional. He bullied Koscielny all over the pitch. He held the wall up, which enabled Martial and Lingard to run off them and brought Pogba into the game. That was one of the best centre-forward performances that I've ever seen, and that's why, despite the fact he doesn't score in the Premiership, Mourinho plays him. That's centre-forward football. People who watch football will look at a centre-forward and think, right, all you've got to do is that you put the ball in there. Wrong. You give your team a platform in order, which means a springboard to run off you. Lacazette was fantastic. He got his goal, but what Lacazette did, he gave Ozil a target during that game, and he allowed players like Ramsey to run on, and when he came and could run off the lad. Alexis Sanchez, unfortunately, wasn't able to do that because I think Man United marched him out of the game. But that's what the modern centre forward has to do that now. Centre forwards have always had to hold the ball up and bring players into play, and I think Lukaku did that excellently. And I think on Saturday, without Pogba, Man United will go for the win. They're not going to park the bus. And I'll tell you why they won't park the bus, is because if they win on Sunday, they have 5 points behind Man City, and then what we do is we have a big clutch of games during December where games come thick and fast. There's not much rest. And that could be an opportunity for Man City to drop points. Are they going to win every game? I'm not convinced they will.
Yeah.
1-0.
And I agree with you.
I think Man United beat Man City.
Yeah, trust me, defeat for them is on the horizon. Because that game against Leicester, Company should have been sent off. These referees are making some terrible decisions this season, man. It's atrocious.
I think the referees is that. I think what referees nowadays is that it's all about real time, what they see in real time.
They're missing big calls though, Kenny. Yeah, big calls. Even a Welbeck penalty, I was sitting pitch side, right? Middle tier, and I saw it, I was like, penalty straight away.
But that was 50-50 for me. Because I've seen given and I've seen not given. Because basically what's happening is the referee's looking at it real time. He says, has the lad been clipped or has the lad lost his balance? I couldn't tell from where I was sitting where he lost his balance. Obviously, when a guy goes down the penalty area, the first instant the same penalty, but when I've looked at it again 3 or 4 times, it was 50-50.
But the Vardy, when Vardy went through and Company chopped him down, that was disgraceful. That was a disgraceful decision.
It is, and I think that's the thing with referees, is that they are going to need a little bit of help. And that is going to be inevitable. But I do think that in the last few games that I've watched, some of the referees have done their job properly. Mike Dean had a good game against in the North London derby. Axon was very brave at Turf Moor, giving the 93-minute penalty to us. Now referees normally bottle that and don't give it, regardless if it's a big club or not. But to actually have the, you know, like I said, the coolness, and the integrity to say, right, that's a foul, doesn't matter, give the penalty. It was a big call for not an accident, but I'm glad he did it anyway because we won the game.
But I'll recommend, you know, in order to help resolve this refereeing situation, that, you know, they're given a yearly eye test, mate. Specsavers. Right, we'll move on to another big game. Now, MJ, I'm sure you got some interest in this one. It's Liverpool versus Everton at Anfield, mate. MJ, Salah is firing, mate. This is a great match. Everton revitalised by Aladici taking a hot seat. Exactly. And this should be a cracking derby.
You know what? I mean, I wish Allardyce actually took over after this game, because when you've got that new manager going in, they picked up 6 points as well in the last 2 games. Yeah. It's going to be a big one, but I'm going to shock everyone and say I'm going to be expecting Liverpool to come through, because the issue with Everton is that even though Allardyce will come in and he will shore up their defence and he'll get more out of the likes of Wayne Rooney and Calvert-Lewin, you just still look at that strike force and you just say, where are they going to get goals from? Which is a big kind of problem.
Set pieces.
Well, yeah, especially
Ashley Williams.
Well, you know what, Frank, I don't want to talk to you now, Frankie. I was really confident before you started.
Set pieces, man. Allardyce, you know him. You know what he's about.
Especially against Liverpool's shaky defence. But I will still say, I expect Liverpool to come through. I'm actually going to say 2-0 because we don't concede many goals at Anfield, believe it or not. I think we've only conceded about 3 goals at Anfield all season in terms of our home games. Away from home, I think we're like the worst team in terms of conceding goals, but at home we're actually pretty good. We're in the top 3 or 4 sides in terms of clean sheets and defensive performances at home. So for that reason alone, I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool, with Mo Salah actually returning in the goals, because he didn't score last week. I think he's going to be back with a bang, and we're going to win 2-0.
Salah. Now, Pascal, Salah, MJ spoke about him being back in the goals, but Aladici likes his defenders and his banks of 4 to sit, mate. It's going to be difficult.
It's not, you know, it's going to be a very exciting game, because, you know, with derbies you can never really predict which way they will go. Sometimes, you know, based on the current form of both teams, you expect Liverpool to have the advantage, but I think that Aladici has got a lot of experience, and I think he understands those games and he knows what you know, the fans expect, but at the same time he's been given a job to keep Everton up, and I think for him it will be a good opportunity to test himself against the better teams, the teams that Everton were expected to match, or at least to compete against at the start of the season. So for me, I believe that it will actually be a draw. I don't believe that Liverpool, although I believe Liverpool are actually a good side. You know, Mohamed Salah has been proven to be a revelation of the season. Also, you know, such a good acquisition, and you know, hats off to Liverpool for capturing his services, because they are certainly making very good use of him. But I do believe that Allardyce has got some interesting potential selections, you know, permutations that will be taking place on Sunday, and I think that he will get a point out of that game. I don't believe that Everton will lose that game.
Yeah, and you know, Pascal, before we move on, Salah certainly brought back the Jerry curl with a bit of gymnastic style.
Yes, of course. Listen, you know, he's like
Easy maybe. Ice Cube back in the day.
I respect the afro. You know, he's bringing it back. You know, he's making it cool again. And you know, that bouncing hairstyle, he's scoring a lot of goals. You know, but he's exceeding everybody's expectations. You know, and everybody that has a fantasy football team with Salah in it must be laughing. You know, because he's certainly doing very well.
Indeed. CB4 MC Gusto. Now, Kenny Ken, it's a cracking day of football. Liverpool versus Everton, another big game. It was the kind of day you tell your wife to go shopping with your credit card, mate.
Well, it is one of those things, but you know, my wife's already booked me because it's her birthday, and no, it's much worse. Her birthday's on Thursday, and I've decided that No, I'm going to go and watch the Europa League match instead of going to her birthday. So she's said, well, we should go out on a Sunday. And I said, well, we are playing Southampton at 12 o'clock on BT Sports. And you know the rule of thumb, especially as part of our marriage vows, was that I would watch any Arsenal game, be it in the stadium or on TV. And so I have to make a compromise and basically ask her if she wants to go out. We have to make a negotiation. Do I miss the Merseyside derby or the Manchester derby, but not miss the Arsenal game? So it's one of those things that is a bit of a dilemma. But in terms of the game itself, I think what's happened with Everton is that it's too early doors for Sam to change things. He's only been there a week, and I don't think he's going to sort of change much. From the outside looking in, one thing he needs to do with Everton is improve their fitness. Because when they played us at their own ground at Grizz Park, one of the things we did is we outrun them, and they spent a lot of time without the ball. We just ran rings around them when we managed to get a foothold in the game. So one of the biggest things is Everton's fitness. One thing Liverpool do struggle under Klopp is when teams play men behind the ball. And I think that's a conundrum that Klopp has never managed to sort of sort out.
Because they're a counter-attacking team.
Definitely. I think you saw a lot of games last season where, you know, especially at Anfield, especially away from home, where teams sat back and were able to. Liverpool very struggled to break that down, and I think that is Alexander's best hope. The problem with that is they're not. For me, they're not fit enough. Their players, in terms of you can. There's always a will, and you always got men by the ball. But whenever you've got men beyond the ball, one of the things that West Ham found this week when they play Man City is that you have to follow the runner as well. You don't just put men behind the ball, you follow the runner. So basically,
Monreal is the culprit of that. Ball watching.
He is, but he's been our best player for the last couple of years. He compensates that because what he does is that Monreal covers other players' mistakes and is reading the game. Is still one of the best at the football club. But in terms of what Everton are going to have to do against Liverpool is that they have to follow a runner and have to mark a runner, and whether they could do that for 90 minutes is going to be very questionable because they're, in terms of like the centre forward, they haven't got a centre forward who is going to hold the ball up when relieve the pressure. They just haven't got that. One of the things, and that's probably why Koeman lost his job, because he didn't get that centre forward he needed for not just to score goals but for games like this on Sunday. And I do think that Everton are very much in danger of the ball coming back, and I think that's what happened to West Ham. West Ham went 1-0 up against Man City, but what will happen is that they were the architects of their own defeat, and I think they actually caused their defeat rather than Man City's good football, because they retreated at the goal line. And what happens when you retreat at football? You encourage the opposition to get further and further into that penalty box, and when players get in your penalty box or near your penalty box, it's danger signs. And then what will happen is that if someone loses their concentration, just one player, all it takes them to get behind you, put a cross in, and then it's like a draw. You look at both of Man City's goals, both were just basically one player losing their marker. They haven't got a centre forward who can hold up the play and relieve the pressure which means they're going to be doing a lot of chasing round, and they'll leave gaps.
And they'll get tired.
Right,
now we move on to for me, the biggest game of the weekend, the actual biggest game of the weekend, is Southampton versus Arsenal. Now, Pascal, an opportunity for Arsenal to bounce back. We played well, but we didn't get the points. But if they can put in a performance like that and defend better, then Southampton could be in for a bit of trouble.
They certainly could be, but Southampton is also a team that has also given Arsenal a bit of trouble. You know,
we haven't won there for a while.
You know, it's not an easy ground for us to go to. So the ideal scenario is that we go there and we play as well as we have done, and we try to get ourselves a result. But if I'm brutally honest, I believe that the players will be a bit disappointed by not getting a draw out of last game against Manchester United, and Southampton could potentially test the mental resolve against Arsenal and probably try and play at us and come at us in the first 10-15 minutes of the game, because if they can take anything from the game against Manchester United is that we tend to start games relatively slowly and get ourselves into a rhythm, and then eventually we start breaking down the team. So my concern is that we'll have to see how the defeat of last week has affected the team mentality, and also the talks of players leaving the club, Theo Walcott, being told that he can now leave in January. How would that also affect some of the players in the squad?
Taxi for Walcott. I think that it could be a far more difficult game than first anticipated.
Yes. And I'm a bit worried about it. I believe that it could be a draw for Arsenal. I don't believe that we'll win the game comfortably. I believe it will be a score draw. And but with Southampton, scoring in the first half of the game, certainly Southampton getting the better of us. I'm a bit skeptical of Peter Cech of late. His goalkeeping abilities have not been as prolific as you expect of him, and I'm just concerned that
Did you see that? Sorry to interrupt, Pascal. There was a moment in the Man United game when the ball's coming through to him and he kind of froze, and all of the fans in the stands were shouting, come out, go and claim the ball. And I don't know what's wrong with him now. Is he past it or what?
I believe he's lost that killer instinct that he had before. The goal that Valencia scored, he could have done a lot better in my opinion. That wasn't, we gave Valencia too much credit for that. I didn't expect Valencia to score for such an angle, and against
he shifted all his body to the left and left the whole of the right side open.
It was a bit it was a bit shocking, and if Peter Cech gives any ounce of that or makes any repeat mistakes, they could potentially be an easy night for Southampton, or certainly an easy afternoon. I would like to see Ospina back in goal for that game.
No.
Ospina.
Not good enough.
Why not?
Not good enough. Not good enough. The thing is, right, is that it's come to the last season. Because we're not happy with Peter Cech. Well, I'm happy with Peter Cech. We're building up Ospina into what he's not. Ospina's a number 2. The fact of the matter is Ospina, yes, he comes out. Yes, like I said, he's probably got more athleticism than Peter Cech, and he's probably got a little bit less, more agility. But Peter Cech's a better goalkeeper.
Agent Cech.
But you say that, and then you look at some of his performances. He's been very, like I said, he still makes those world-class saves. Well, the thing about it is that, we didn't do much wrong against Man United. What we did is that Man United pressed us over the field and they forced the mistakes, especially for the first 2 goals. One thing about Southampton, they've got players going to hurt us. Austin's been playing the last few games. He's been in good form. He's got the form that he had at Queen's Park Rangers in his sole season in the Premiership. So, and then you've got players like Tadic, like I said, it can hurt us. Redmond's got the pace. But I'll say what I say 1,000 times. If we dominate the midfield and win the midfield battle, we pass quickly, we move quickly, we'll beat Southampton comfortably.
Indeed. Just to finish off, MJ prediction from the Liverpool man.
Yeah, I'm going to say Arsenal are definitely going to win this one. So, even though I know Southampton is seen as Liverpool reserves, because that's where we seem to go shopping every single year.
That's where you cherry pick.
Yeah, we leave everywhere and we go to Southampton, It's just like big Barcelona, all the glamorous places in the world. We go, Southampton, we'll have that. But I see Arsenal having too much. Alexis Sanchez received a bit of criticism this weekend, and I expect this to actually respond as the top player that he is, especially with Mesut Ozil. That AOL was looking pretty bloody good. They were informed by David De Gea, and I actually see AOL doing enough, because I don't think Southampton have got the tools to hurt Arsenal. Plus the fact that the Arsenal defence was actually so poor was so poor against Man United, I can't see them being that poor again for 2 games running. So for that reason alone, I'm going Arsenal to win 2-0. I'm actually seeing them keeping a clean sheet as well.
Wow, happy days. You're going to bounce back. Right, guys, that's our time. I'd like to thank Kenny Ken, Petter Sugarov, Pascal and MJ. Join us again next week for another Pep Talk UK podcast. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave your comments and reviews.